Fox Business Exclusive is Archer Aviation founder and CEO Adam Goldstein. Adam, first of all, congratulations. How did this successful bid come about? How hard did you work it?
Thanks, Liz. It's really been a long time in the making. And so for several years, we've been planning out bringing these air taxis to Los Angeles because it's probably the best city in the world to be able to offer this service. So we first started making partnerships with all the different infrastructure providers. And then ultimately, when it came time for the Olympics bid, we were the natural selection as we have a lot of progress on the aircraft. The company is very well funded, and we've got all the infrastructure laid out to do that.
Last year, you unveiled the air taxi plan for Los Angeles. How would it work? Where would the landing pads or vertiports, where would they be? And would they be at LAX, for example? There's so much air traffic there as well. And how many people could each one hold?
So there's going to be a lot of work that's going to go into this between now and LA 2028 to bring this all live. So there's a lot of kind of core infrastructure that's been put in place. You have, like you mentioned, the airport, but you also have the big stadiums. So think SoFi Stadium, Woodland Hills, USC. So lots of points of interest where the games are held, but then also other points where people are going to be traveling to and from. So think Santa Monica, or think down in Orange County. We're creating this network to make it really easy for people to travel, to make sure that we can move fans, but also VIPs, athletes, and dignitaries.
You know, I'm thinking of Figueroa, which is the street that runs parallel to USC. On a good day, it's so traffic congested, not to mention the 405, just getting from the west side of Los Angeles downtown. I mean, this could be incredible, but how will the regulators look at what you have? And by the way, your Midnight aircraft, you're ramping up the creation of these. You have a couple of them at the moment. Tell me exactly how you expect the regulators to put this to the test.
Well, this was actually a huge quarter for Archer and for the industry because we saw a lot of alignment from President Trump and the executive order that he put out there that lined up the regulations with the operators. So he mandated that the U.S. become the predominant player globally. That really set up everybody to come together, the suppliers, the infrastructure partners, the entire ecosystem to all come together to bring this vision to reality. So it's really a collective group that's been bringing this for a while.
It's interesting because the last time you were on, we were talking about the deal you have, about $1.5 billion deal with United Airlines. You also have deals with Japan Airlines, Indigo. Where else are you looking to expand your service beyond the Olympics and beyond Los Angeles?
Well, this is going to be a global market, and there's going to be applications all over the world. But the future of manufacturing of aviation will be here in America. It won't be in Europe. It won't be in China. It'll be here in America. We're going to make these aircrafts here, and then we'll export them all over the world.
That's probably music to the Trump administration's ears. They want things made in America. It sure would be great if they launch here first in America, because the Paris Olympics tried. And I remember that because we were watching Joby, and of course, Joby's got a deal with Delta Airlines. I was at Delta Airlines' keynote speech for Ed Bastian, the CEO, at the Consumer Electronics Show in January. And they made a big deal of their partnership with Joby, and they talked a lot about sort of the blue sky idea of it, where people are just going to get right on these things and make it much faster to airports. You take it beyond that. You are now looking at deals in the defense world. Talk about what you envision when it comes to Archer technology working with military.
Well, as we've seen in the conflicts around the world, specifically in Ukraine, a lot of the attention has gone into these unmanned systems. They call them autonomous and attritable systems. And so what's very clear is that we need to scale manufacturing here in America. It's really critical we reindustrialize the manufacturing base here. And so as we're scaling up the civil side, it's going to be critical that we also scale up the defense side of our business so we can play a big role in that reindustrialization.
Yeah, and you're dealing with Anduril. We've had those guys on. It's fascinating to see what they're doing with all kinds of drones, both in the air and undersea. Let's just go back to the air taxi. When do I have the opportunity? When do our viewers have the opportunity? What year do you think that is where they can climb aboard one of these things and lift off?
Well, the industry is actually quite mature. The goal is to start commercially operating in the UAE starting this year. The executive order put the framework in place to allow us to launch here in the U.S. next year. And then the goal is to scale that into the Olympics into 2028.
How many people and what would it cost? Does each one of these fit?
So each aircraft is a pilot plus 4 passengers, and the cost will be similar to taking a rideshare service. So if you're going to go from, let's say, Manhattan to JFK or from LAX to downtown, you can think $100, $150.
Oh, wow. And how quick would it be? Because we know, depending on traffic, what a mess it can be. I've missed enough flights going from Midtown to JFK, which really isn't that far.
Yeah, so the good news is when you're flying in a straight line, you cut off a lot of the distance, but you also go 150 miles per hour and there's no traffic. So the typical routes will be 5, 10, 15 minutes. If you're talking Manhattan to JFK, it's really about a 5-minute route. If you're talking LAX to downtown, you're probably talking somewhere around 10 minutes. So very predictable, very quick, and I think will become a part of everyday life and ultimately a part of everybody's expectations. And so nobody likes traffic, and now we're providing a service that can eliminate it.
Adam, you're going to have lines of people, I would imagine. Once it's all cleared by the FAA for safety, I would imagine people would rather take a 5 or 10-minute jaunt for $150 than a $100 Uber. Great to see you. Thank you very much.